Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for hanging out and waiting for my next video. It has been a while. COVID lockdown and COVID's got me right now. But today we're going to do an oil change. What's different is I'm going to suck it out and then we'll compare it to what's actually left in the sump. We'll pull the sump plug off and see what's actually left. As a note, I've done the last 4 years by this method, so it'll be interesting to see what's actually comes out of the sump. Let's watch. Thank you. So as per normal, safety always first, handbrake on, make sure the car is secure. As a tip, also your bonnet releases there, these are lubed up with motorbike chain grease and a dollop of grease so that they will always come undone. Also check when you do it that you're down in there, try and get the focus, down in there, that little cable that runs to this one is in the right slot, and likewise on this side that it's also got the right slot alignment on both sides. Cable runs up just under here, runs up onto here and runs down, and that's your bonnet cable right down there. That's just an Anderson plug that I run my compressor off. There's a fuse in behind that, so it's all nice and neat and tidy. Alright, so let's go. What we'll do is we'll take the cover off for the oil and the filter, and then we'll start too. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that bash plate off. Haven't done that in a while. Well, I don't miss doing that at all. Take off the bash plate, all 13mm bolts with a 15mm nut on the front too, on the edge. I do have a weeping leak under there, but that's got to do with the oil level sensor that weeps out of the sump. But okay, so now what we'll do is we'll change the oil the way I want to with my suction, and then we'll see what comes out of the sump afterwards, knowing that we're looking for about 5.9 litres. So we obviously have our oil filler cap, needs to come off to get the case off. We've got the oil filter cover. Now that's in there, that's the bleed line for the fuel rail if you ever need to crack that. And you got your map sensor and you got your maps right next to your engine box. At the back there's a bit of an oil separator from Peugeot. It's still got the Peugeot line on it if you look hard enough. That's about all the excitement under there. The biggest point to note with this is that when we take this cover off, on the D4, the oil filter is different than the D3, or the 2.7 motor. For the D3, please watch out that these labels don't get pinched under the cap when we put it back on. That's just one of the main things there, otherwise the valleys fills up with oil and you'll get oil all over your driveway. So what I'll do now is we'll drain the oil out, and to do that, that's what this is for. So we take this off, put it to the side. This little hose goes straight down to the sump. I'll try and get a picture to put in of where it lives in the sump to give you an idea of the depth into the sump pan that it goes. But we'll hook our suction up to that. So this is the sucker. Just an eBay special vacuum oil extractor pump. There's nothing spectacular about it. It has got some markings on the side for like the liters that it comes out, but yeah, I wouldn't be trusting those too much. In this case, there is a 10mm inside diameter pipe that comes with the system. It just slides in with its rubber grommet into there. These are some spare ones if you ever wanted to use them. I've never had to, so they just sit there to the side. The whole unit, I wish, would have a pipe about another 200mm longer. But the way I look like is I rest it on the bumper, comes up, and this goes straight over that hose like that. Put a bit of an angle. Sorry for the out of focus. Put on an angle and then just start drawing up the oil. And there it goes. Almost like the workshop. Just really make sure that's down properly. That makes a bit of a farty noise, but that's about it. So as it pumps out, the level of the oil will rise more and more in your barrel. We're up to here, give or take. Now, perfect timing. That sound is the air coming through the suction line. So this is as full as it's going to get by this method. So we'll do a proper effort on it. As you can see, it's almost full to the top, which should be 5 point something litres. 5 point litres. Yeah, I'm not getting any resistance at all on that, so it's just sucking air now. Alright, mental note. When we're undoing this thing, grab this end first, because this is full of oil, and if you pull it off and do it wrong, you'll get a sport stripe that'll run fair up your bonnet. So grab the end, wiggle it off gently, put your finger on it, and we'll let all the raw oil run down with gravity. Now that's all the oil that's come out of the engine via suction. As you can see, it's not too bad if you take each one of those loops as being a litre. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and change. That's great. Back in the motor, we still will put the cap back on. Sorry, I'm getting used to an iPad filming. The zooms in a whole lot more than the phone. Alright, so we got that in there. What we'll do now is we'll undo the filter, because that's been draining long enough now, and then we'll be able to finish this little jobby. So for this job we'll need a 32mm socket. It's not going to be tight because it's only 25 newtons or so, so it's pretty light. Alright, that's principally off. Excuse me. Now the filter is actually caught up inside, and we'll do this in one foul swoop. And we've got our filter off with no drips. So to get that filter out, we just hit it with some needle nose pliers and pinch it and grab it out that way. So hang on. Ta-da! Drain like that for a second. One oil filter case. So what we'll do is we'll put so we'll put the new filter in. This is the MAN HU826X. This is Land Rover. It's just spelt differently. Some of you may have noticed it's exactly the Land Rover OEM filter. Just hasn't got the little Land Rover stamp. So take that out. There's no way up, so it clicks in, fits in there nicely. You get a rubber ring because there's a rubber ring here that needs to come out and be persuaded to come out. Trust me, there's enough oil on this thing to not worry about trying to reseat. That's in the right spot. We'll leave that there and we'll put that back in the car. Now, this is the hole. The middle of that goes straight to the mains. Outside it comes up. This goes on over the top, falls in and twists gently on. You can torque that up later on, as you might be able to see. 25 Newton meters, give or take something. I'll just tighten that up right now. So I know it's overkill, but 25 Newton meters is pretty much as the edge of that plastic cap comes down to meet the housing that it fits on. So it's one and the same, so don't over tighten it. Once you feel that cap hit, it's as far as you have to go. So I do one-handed. Normally I have two helpers up because of COVID, and they're laying flat. I'm up to day 7, so I'm feeling heaps better. There's the touching. Click. Alright, one filter in. Get that on wipe up. Those barcodes, if you ever wanted to know, that's for your injectors, your injector numbering from the factory. Now some of you might be saying you're using a C1 oil from Valvoline. Yes, I am. It's the one that OEMs have used. It's the one that's used for DPF based engines. Even though mine's not, I've noticed that compared to the other oils, non-DPF based oil has less smoke trail behind you when you put your foot down to go. So I'll continue to using it. It's compatible on that in my manual, workshop, in my owner's manual, WSS M2C934B is good enough for my engine in a 2015 TDV6. So now let's see how much oil comes out from underneath when you suction versus use the sump. As I said before, it's been about 3 years since I've actually taken the sump plug off this, so it'll be interesting to see how much it's in there. Alright, so we have a sump plug, 13 mil. Now, one of the reasons I went to a suction version is because when this is normally very full, let's get that out of the way. Normally when this is very full and you drain the sump out, the oil just goes straight into that cross member and just everywhere. It's absolute mess of a job. Right, to give you an idea of where we are, this line here, this plastic one, is the other end of that suction hose. So technically it's a little bit lower than the sump plug, but hey, we'll see what it looks like. Put this here, and the rubber seal is still good. That's loosened. Put this here. I'm hoping that we get absolute diddly squat. Alright. We'll let that go for a little bit longer and we'll have a look at what's in the bottom of the pan. Last of it, about 2 minutes, if that. Yeah, it's blowing in the breeze now, so that'd be enough. A shame I didn't use these new sump plugs. I could have resold them. Just that nipped up. Okay. Now the good thing about using the suction method is that if you do it right, there's no reason to actually get oil on your fingers. Slipped up enough. Click. Turbo drain. Okay, lovely. So after that exercise, I can now see I've got, yeah, I was wrong, probably about 150 mil in the back of that comes out of that sump, over and above what normally comes out of the suction. So your choice. I'm now more worried about looking for glitter. Thankfully I think I don't have any at all. It's organic. Okay, so there was about 250, 300 mils, half this water bottle. of oil that came out of the sump after the suction. So suck or drain. If you're after the time, the suction's fine. But if you're after all of it, drain it. Okay, now this will be the fun part next time. Documented I'm spilling how much over the engine. Just a bad camera angle, but $5 litres here. Stop. We'll fill this back up with the bad engine oil, take it back to the shop, they dispose of it for us. That's my money's worth in that one. $900 of this one. Because I know that filter's dry. I know I can get away with it. Check it after going for a quick drive. You reset the service light. Now I don't have a computer for that. It's a matter of hold your nose and press the brake pad and look 3 times and pull your ear and shut the door and a couple other odd things. But I'll try and document that as well. Can go there, that can go in this hole just here. And we have one non-messy oil change. Thanks for watching.